Welcome to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gubin. Here are the stories that we're following today, August 10th, 2013. In international news, U.S. to reopen 18 of 19 embassies and consulates closed due to terror threat. Chinese human trafficking ring busts in Europe. And deaths as Indonesia's rocket tender blows. Mexico drugs boss Quintero is freed over blunder. Details on these headlines and more when we return.
Mom, let you take your car out. This is awesome.
It's time to grow up.
You're crazy.
Little while
Faster, go faster. Stop.
It'll all be alright.
I raised my son to be careful,
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, Mom.
but just to be safe,
So don't you worry.
I got a Subaru.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Coleman Subaru, 1710 North Alden Avenue, Ewing, New Jersey, or colemansubaru.com.
Eighteen of the 19 U.S. embassies and consulates that were closed in the Middle East and Africa because of terrorist threat will reopen on Sunday or Monday, the State Department said on Friday. The U.S. Embassy in Sana'a, Yemen, will remain closed. The U.S. Consulate in Lahore, Pakistan, which was closed Thursday because of what officials say was a separate credible threat, also was not scheduled to reopen. In the statement, State Department spokeswoman Jen Psaki did not cite a reason for the decision to reopen the 18 missions. She cited ongoing concerns about a threat stream indicating the potential for terrorist attacks emanating from Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, or AQAB, for keeping the embassy in Sana'a closed. The 19 outposts were closed to the public beginning last Sunday. Most American employees at the U.S. Embassy in Yemen were ordered to leave the country on Tuesday because of threat information. An intercepted message between Al-Qaeda officials about plans for a major terror attack triggered the 19 closures. The State Department issued a travel warning Thursday night regarding Pakistan, saying the presence of several foreign and indigenous terrorist groups pose a potential danger to U.S. citizens throughout the country. At the same time, officials ordered non-essential government personnel to leave the U.S. consulate in Lahore. In an appearance Tuesday on NBC's The Tonight Show, Obama said the terror threat was significant enough that we are taking every precaution. However, closing embassies and consulates called into question Obama's assertion last spring that Al-Qaeda's headquarters was a shadow of its former self and his administration's characterization of the terror network's leadership as severely diminished and decimated. On Friday, the president noted that he was referring to core Al-Qaeda, and that what I also said was that Al-Qaeda and other extremists have metastasized into regional groups that can pose significant dangers, he says. A total of 75 suspects, including 2 main operatives based in Barcelona, were arrested, the authorities said today. Officers in Spain arrested 51 people and the other 24 were picked up in France, according to a police statement. The string of arrests follows a 2-year joint investigations in the two countries. Police said the traffickers charged 40 to 50,000 euros per person to provide false identities and transport Chinese citizens to the U.S. and countries such as Spain, France, Greece, Italy, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Turkey. Spanish police seized 81 fake passports from Asian countries such as Taiwan, South Korea, Malaysia, Japan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. They were found in 2 lodgings owned by the ring in Barcelona, whose airport was allegedly used as the gang's main European hub. Some of the people trafficked ended up in the sex trade, Spain's Interior Ministry said. The investigations into the trafficking ring, which police describe as a perfectly structured, hierarchical organization, started in July 2011. The kingpin remained in China and had an independent cells working separately in different countries. The traffickers would accompany their clients to Spain, which served as a last stop or trampoline to the final destination, usually the UK or the US. Mainly from China and Malaysia, they were thorough connoisseurs of the European airports and sites along the route and the complete confidence of the ringleaders. They would return home as soon as they had completed each operation to make it harder to track them down. Migrants who were also given precise instructions on how to avoid detection at customs controls, for example by mixing in with a group of tourists. The route from China was changed constantly according to how each trip unfolded to avoid discovery, the police statement said. Once they arrived in Barcelona, they were met by operatives and taken to safe houses before continuing their journeys. At the lodgings in the Spanish city, police found equipment for forging documents, including portable computers, scanners, fake customs stamps, and a magnifying glass. A handgun, mobile phones, and bundles of cash, both euros and won, were also seized in the operation. Lava spewing from a volcano killed 6 people sleeping in a beach village in Indonesia as hot ash and smoke shot up to 2,000 meters in the air. Mount Rokatenda on Peleg Island erupted early this morning when more than 3,000 people were evacuated from the area. The victims included 3 adults and 2 children who were swept away by lava, an official from the National Disaster Mitigation Agency said. The age of the 6th casualty is unclear. The children's bodies have not been recovered from the Pong Beach in Rukirul village. Rokatenda has been rumbling since October 2012. Indonesia sits along the Pacific Ring of Fire, the name given to a horseshoe-shaped series of fault lines that leave the region prone to earthquakes and volcanic activity. Cara Quintero was jailed for 40 years over the 1985 kidnapping, but he has walked free after 28 years because of a ruling that he was tried in the wrong kind of court. The U.S. Department of Justice said it found the decision deeply troubling. Mexico's relations with Washington was soured when Quintero, now in his 60s, ordered U.S. Drugs Enforcement Agency agent Enrique Camarena kidnapped, tortured, and killed. The agent was snatched in Guadalajara, a major drug trafficking center at the time. His body and that of his Mexican pilot were found a month later in a shallow grave. Quintero, who was apparently angry at Mr. Camarena over a raid he sanctioned on a marijuana plantation, was eventually hunted down in Costa Rica. His release was ordered after a decision that his trial had improperly taken place in a federal court. He still faces charges in the U.S. and is believed to have continued controlling the laundering of drug money from behind bars. The Department of Justice said it continues to seek Quintero's extradition. The Association of Former Federal Narcotics Agents in the U.S. said it was outraged and it blamed corruption within Mexico's justice system for the early release. It said, and I quote, "The release of this violent butcher is but another example of how good faith efforts by the U.S. to work with the Mexican government can be frustrated by those powerful dark forces that work in the shadows of the Mexican justice system." Quintero is considered the grandfather of Mexican drug trafficking. He helped establish a powerful cartel based in the northwestern Mexican state of Sinaloa that later split into some of Mexico's largest cartels, including Sinaloa and Juarez cartels. You're watching Caribbean Affiliate News. We will be right back.
Hey, excuse me, if you see me smiling, that's 'cause I'm chilling on Total Caribbean Network. It's your boy Wyclef Jean, man, and I'm chilling, man. Total Caribbean Network. Man, I love their style. Whoa, 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 whoa.